Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through!
And the Weather Service has warned us to brace ourselves for the onslaught of Hurricane Barbara. And if you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you obviously have never seen the gals grabbing for items at a clearance sale.
What is up, Cretins? Welcome to episode 25 of the Nerd or Not podcast, where we give our opinions on a range of topics. This week, we're going all over the map. We're talking the action movie playoffs going into the Final Four. We are talking about a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of Walt Disney cartoonage. We are talking about the weather, because it's kind of a big deal. So basically, we are going to give our opinions over all kinds of stuff under the sun, or in Bob's case, under the oppressive rain cloud of Irma, all while promoting fellowship, conversation, and humor every chance we can, because that is our credo. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just search Cretins Guild with or without a space. I am Jay. This is Bob. And you can listen to us either here on YouTube, which is awesome, or on Podbeans, iTunes, and Google Play. We are the Cretins Guild. Sans Corey, who is still somewhere on his sojourn in Chicago. Full disclosure, I did see him last week, and he wanted me to give this to all of the listeners. So welcome to the new followers and new subscribers. And I want to give a special shout out to our friends at the Wrestling Nerd Alliance podcast. Now, Bob, these are some guys you know. Why don't you give us the deets on these guys?
Wrestling Nerd Alliance. First off, thank you guys so much. You have teased us to the point where I think we need to be giving you guys ad revenue. Thank you guys. Rob, yeah. That is our producer talking.
So. No, we don't.
But anyway, Rob, Cliff, and Ed, they're wrestling fans who give their opinions about once a week on angles, storyline, trends, and anything headlining surrounding the fantastic art of pro wrestling. So on one of their more recent episodes, Rod had a task where he had to try to work the gimmick of the Manitar into today's wrestling, and he went through the steps of how it could work on today's WWE. And I have to say, you have to go back and listen to it. It was very interesting. But once again, thanks again to Rob, Ed, and Cliff for promoting our show. Please check out the WNA on Podbean, iTunes, and give a review, or what is it for iTunes? That
it's a review.
It's a review. Yeah.
Yep.
Give a review and, say, hi, the Cretan sent us. Thanks for checking us out, and thanks for checking them out. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about the action movie playoffs, and last week I was not present because I was inundated with work. And Bob, you went not solo, you went La Familia last week and ran shit, which was awesome. But we got a couple of things that we've kind of missed that we haven't talked about because we've been so focused on the action movie playoffs. And one of those, what's that?
And a couple other things we've been focusing on.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it's easy.
One of the things we want to talk about, and we haven't talked about pro wrestling in a while, so we're gonna step all over the WNA listeners here and take their thunder a little bit. We're gonna talk NXT Takeover and SummerSlam. First up, NXT Takeover again.
Oh my God,
it was so good. Just like everything about it was great.
Yeah.
The Andrade Cien Almas Johnny Gargano match was great. Talk about an ending. Putting fire into Gargano and then having Almas's valet throw the DIY shirt at him. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And seeing Tommaso Ciampa on Twitter just revel in it. That son of a bitch. Like, I hope he steps on Legos, that motherfucker. Like, and I say that as honestly a bigger Ciampa fan than I am a Gargano fan. I like both of them quite a bit, but man, what a dick. Like, just such a dick. Like, him going heel is the best thing that's happened to my wrestling Twitter follows, I think, because he has just gone from like lovable goofball to just absolute savage.
But weren't you wonderful. Like a big fan of DIY?
I was a huge fan of DIY. Gargano and Ciampa were, I mean, if you remember when we did our draft picks, hello, that's a spider. Excuse me for 1 second, folks. I got to kill a spider. You're going to die. That was awful. But he's dead now.
Thank you, PETA.
So, apologies. What was I talking
it's
about?
a spider. It deserves to die.
So, oh yes, if you remember back when we did our draft picks, our fantasy draft of the WWE, which will be coming up again next year for the Road to WrestleMania, which would be really fun to get the WNA guys on. That'd be cool because then
that would be awesome. If we do like a giant draft party with these guys, that would be fucking awesome.
You know what? I might actually be able to get some of my my friends from some other podcasts as well on for that one. So that could be good. All right, so that's spitballing. But DIY was one of my picks for my my tag teams, and one of the reasons, if I remember correctly, was because purposely you could split them up and they could also work as singles wrestlers. And lo and behold, whoever's booking NXT must be watching our show because they totally split them up. Yes, I'm going to stoke my ego a little bit there. Let's see what else happened on that show. Asuka won again.
Lots of wonderful things happened on that show.
There wasn't a bad match.
The worst match was the world title match at the end of the show, and just because everything before it was just amazingly good.
Mm-hmm. And even the world title match wasn't bad.
No, and
it was a good heavyweight match. You know, it was two big dudes beating the shit out of each other, and you know, seeing McIntyre go over Rude was good. And then having Adam Cole baby come out at the end, and you know, him and O'Reilly and Fish, Red Dragon, coming out and just kicking the shit out of McIntyre was great. And seeing O'Reilly and Fish come out and take out Sanity after their match with the AOP was wonderful. It was great. Like, so much good stuff happened on Takeover. And then SummerSlam happened.
Oh,
like
it started off really bad with the crowd situation. That was a forced holding.
I really want someone to explain to Vincent Kennedy McMahon what momentum is in terms of like capturing interest, because you had the Brooklyn crowd on Saturday was spectacular.
Oh yeah, they were on fire. They were on point. Everything
was wonderful with the Brooklyn crowd on Saturday for NXT. You got to Sunday. First off, you don't let people in for the first hour and a half the pre-show is going on. What was there, like 12 people in the audience for the Hardys match?
They performed in front of the dozens and dozens. Yeah. From what I've heard is the gates opened at 5, the show started at 5:30, and security was incredibly tight, like patting down everybody coming in. Yeah, they weren't letting anyone in, which sucks. And that's not really on WWE. We can't really point the finger there. That's on the Barclays Center. But man, that's you're pissing people off with them not going in. So they're going to have a shitty attitude during the matches. And boy, howdy did they. This is boring chants during the Cruiserweight match, the beach ball incident with Cesaro. It wasn't very eventful. It was terrible. And then, you know, the rest of the show just kind of went through the motions. You know, you had the fatal 4-way for the Universal Championship, and it looked like they were going to make a good call and actually stick the belt on someone that's going to be there every week. Like, I'm even fine with Reigns taking the title at this point. At least he's on. No. At least he's on TV. You know, at least he's on TV. But you've seen what he does to the belts. He hates them. He treats them like garbage. He treats them like they're a prop, and that's not good. But I just, at least if he's on TV, the belt can be defended. You know, I love Paulie. Brock is great as a freak show 3 times a year. He's not a champion anymore. He's not a company carrier. No, he's not. Not even kinda. You had 3 other guys in that match that can put that show on their shoulders and take it through to WrestleMania without a problem. And that gives you 9 months to build, or what is it, 7 months to build someone up. Yeah. And to be either a foil for Reigns, for Strowman, or for Joe. And then if you want, you can still hot potato the belt around for a couple of months. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I was so desperate to see Samoa Joe as champion. I was so hoping to see that. I still think you're going to see it. I still think you're going to see it probably in the next 6 months. Let me rephrase it. I think you're going to see it in the next 9 months. I think you'll see it after WrestleMania next year, because I don't think Brock drops the belt between now and then.
because why would he? His contract, I think, is up next year anyway. So let him hold it and then send him off into the fucking sunset and shoot the big dumb idiot. But
bucket of duh.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a visual representation of that. The bucket of duh.
Man, I don't even think it's the bucket of duh anymore. I think it's just the bucket of ugh.
Oh yeah.
It's just I don't care anymore. Like
it's full of Funyuns.
God damn it. That's good. But at least, in the case, because I know there's some people getting upset about Jinder being the champion on SmackDown. Jinder's there every week. Jinder is in matches every week. Jinder looks like a champion. Jinder carries himself like a champion. Jinder can cut a promo by himself.
Yep.
Jinder is
he's a good heel. He's an effective heel.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately, that meant that Shinsuke Nakamura did not win the world championship at SmackDown at SummerSlam, but that's okay. It happens. He'll get the belt next time. I think they've about run the course with Jinder. He's going to have about a 6-month run by the time he's done with it. And that's great for what is essentially a rookie champion. Because the guy hasn't had a shot until now.
Yeah, he kind of would he be champion right now if this deal with getting WWE programming on India be going on right now? Probably not.
Probably not, but I think he would not. I don't think he would be the jobber that he was. He's got too much of the McMahon physique, the Insta Vince boner that he sees whenever he sees a guy that's ripped like that. I think he would probably be a U.S. champion at this point, which is probably about where he should be anyway. Or at least I would have. You know what? I would have said that before he was world champion, because I actually really enjoy Jinder as world champion. I think he's exactly the type of heel that SmackDown needs, because he is somebody that people can hate easily. And it's, I would like that to be Kevin Owens, but Owens has his own thing going right now.
Owens looks like there's some big things coming down the line for him. But going back to Jinder, he reminds me of another heel from a number of years ago. He reminds me when JBL won the title for about like a whole year.
Yeah, straight. He was the longest reigning SmackDown World Champion.
Yeah.
No, he's very much JBL. He's kind of limited in the ring. He's not the fastest guy or the most graceful guy in the ring, but what he does well. And he is full on heel. The neat thing about Jinder, though, I think with Jinder, you also have an opportunity there that in a year or two, you could make him a super over babyface.
Really?
Oh, I think you could. I think you could. I definitely think it would take some doing, and it wouldn't be something where it's just like insta turn and all of a sudden he's a face. He's the ultimate babyface. I think it's something that would have to be built for a while. Kind of like when you slowly saw DX going from heel to face. I think you could do something like that. Obviously not the same situation. He's definitely not DX, but I think you could do that with Jinder. Oh, Corey just uploaded something on Slack. He's alive. Let's see what he said. Oh, he has thrown down a challenge for the next belt challenge. Okay.
Wait a minute. He's a champion.
He's challenging himself to a belt match. We'll get into the rules about the belt in a little while.
Yeah, we're going to have to explain this again. I think he's getting a little full of himself.
A bit. So that's kind of my thoughts on Takeover and SummerSlam. There's been some things that have happened since then. There was a Raw pay-per-view in there somewhere, wasn't there?
Yeah, because Sasha... Wait, No Mercy?
No Mercy's soon.
Yeah.
No. Yes. What? Yes. Yeah, because Sasha won the belt at SummerSlam, right? Or no?
No. Sasha won it and then lost it in the length of time it take Orton to take on Rusev.
Ugh, I don't want to talk about that. So bad. Anyway, so wrestling is happening. Wrestling is still a thing. We still love wrestling. We'll talk about wrestling more when the Action Movie playoffs are done. But let's move on to something that's kind of something that could have very easily been terrible. Very easily been terrible. And I know for a fact that a lot of people of our age and from our generation and a little bit younger, from the 80s, we're a little bit worried about this one, seeing the initial images from DuckTales. And I am here to tell you that you had nothing to worry about. DuckTales is fucking wonderful. The voice actors are great. It's really nice to actually understand what Huey, Dewey, and Louie are saying.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until now, but yes, I totally agree.
And you still get that classic Disney duck voice of Donald not being having the world's worst speech impediment. Everything's in there. You've got Glomgold in there, so you got a classic DuckTales villain. David Tennant is spectacular as Scrooge.
You see, that was the biggest question mark for me. I had no idea how I would because we're very familiar with Tennant's voice, and we know his Scottish accent, but based on the original run and Tennant's voice, I was having a really hard time trying to merge the two into this one fusion. And I was like, how is this going to work? And then I finally saw, I was like, that'll do.
Yeah, it works perfectly. It's fun. It's full of adventure. All the Huey, Dewey, and Louie all have very unique personalities, which is also kind of a relief. They're not just carbon copies of each other.
Yeah, they're not a triplet clone.
Yeah, exactly. And the style and the artwork in the show is great. The voice acting is wonderful. I still want to see Doug Benson and Ron Funches as part of the Beagle Boys, just because I think it'd be hilarious to hear two stoner comedians as the Beagle Boys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing stuff like Gizmo Duck and hopefully Magic and Dispel and like all the classic DuckTales characters. I really want to see them in the game or in the show. And I say game because now I'm thinking about DuckTales Remastered that Way Forward did, and I really want to see a DuckTales 2 remastered by Way Forward. Please, please.
Wouldn't that be awesome if they worked in what was the moon level bass music into the show?
That would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But that's DuckTales. Bob, you got to watch it with the boys, right?
Yep. Michael and Robbie, they sat back and they watched it, and I just was looking over my phone. I was like, oh man, this is really good. This is really, really good. Guys, you knew I grew up with the original. They don't care. They don't care.
Victor loved it as well. Victor, getting him to watch stuff that is not things he normally watches can be tough because he is very set in his no, I want to watch this ways. But getting him to watch that, I said, hey, come watch this. This is based off a cartoon I used to watch when I was your age. And he was like, oh, cool. I was like, holy shit, that worked for the first time ever. So something with Game of Thrones season 7, moving on. I have not seen any of season 6 or season 7, so I'm way far behind.
Oh, okay. So we can't talk about the show.
Oh no, we can talk about it because I'm on social media. It was spoiled within 20 minutes of it ending.
Oh, that's the worst way to find out.
Yeah, it's fine. Spoilers happen. I've accepted it. But we're going to specifically talk about something with people being able to view the show, which is pretty cool.
And don't live in Spain.
They're not doing it legally, which is not cool. It was pirated over 1 billion times.
That's with a B.
That's billion with a B as in boy, not dillion, not like a million pickles. This is billion as in boy.
1 million pickles. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm Pickle Rick Morty. So that happened. I don't know how the good people at HBO feel about that. I know a lot of it had to do with the show leaking early.
Well, I think it was episode 6 got leaked early by going on HBO Spain, a week early.
Yep.
And then episode 5 was hacked and then uploaded, and everyone watched it.
I think the first 5 were actually hacked and uploaded
because
I remember hearing about that when before the first episode had premiered was, hey, if you want to watch Game of Thrones, you can do it here. And I was like, what? That's not cool. But hey, everything gets hacked nowadays, including Equifax or whatever the hell it was. So yeah, people don't be dicks. Get an HBO subscription and watch Game of Thrones. But now the big because you can watch other great stuff too, like Silicon Valley, Last Week Tonight. There's all kinds of wonderful stuff on HBO. HBO is great. But now we're going to talk about the big one, another thing that's kind of dominating your mind right now. We'll get to the actual talk of the storm here in a minute, because it's, being away from hurricanes now for a couple of years, and actually longer than that, because we didn't really have any for a while in Florida when I lived there.
04 was the last one you probably went through.
Yeah, so it's been a good 13 years now for me. So Disney and Universal are closing early Saturday night, September 9th at 7 p.m. And they're going to be closed for 2 days. Now, for people who don't know Central Florida and don't know the theme parks, that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, Disney is the biggest employer of the state, and Universal's not that far behind them. So a lot of people not working for a few days.
Yeah, so a lot of people not working. A lot of tourists stuck in hotels, in which are hopefully nice and secure, and they're built up to code.
Well, Alicia and I went to Magic Kingdom earlier in the week, because we think, well, there's nobody at the park. Everyone's running for their lives from this hurricane. We're going to go to the parks and just basically walk on things that would normally have 60, 90-minute waits. And I was thinking, if there was any place I had to be stranded in Florida, a Disney hotel would probably be it.
Oh, that'd be high on my list. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? Their generators are going to kick on, and you're going to have a really nice warm meal.
Yeah.
Like, because Disney ain't fucking around. They're not losing power. It's it might go down for 15 or 20 seconds.
They'll put Bluto on a treadmill and hook that up to the car battery.
It's definitely something where, cause I remember when there was something, gosh, I want to say it was after Charlie, Francis, and Gene in 04. When we did, there was something that looked like there was one guy was gonna come close to us, and Meredith and I had kicked around the idea of, like, why don't we just go to Disney? Like, why don't we just, like, cash in some of our vacation club points and go stay at Saratoga Springs for a couple of days? The worst that's going to happen is we're going to have a jacuzzi tub and room service. It's like,
oh no.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, Muffy, that's so bad. But of course we dodged it, and nothing happened. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen this way with Irma.
No, this one's coming right up Florida's poop chute.
Yeah, so it looks to me like it's taking a very similar path that Charlie did.
Now, Charlie went into the Gulf, and the Gulf of Mexico is basically batteries for hurricanes.
Yep.
And then it came into Port Charlotte, and then just went right up I-4, nailed Orlando, and then went out back into the coast. This one is coming up Miami, going straight up the peninsula, and then it's kind of iffy what's going to do once it gets to around Gainesville, but it looks like the eye is going right over my head.
So are you guys going to be on the east side or the west side of the eye wall?
For the longest time, it looked like we were going to be dead center. And then some reports earlier tonight, it's Friday night, look like it shifted a bit to the east. So we're going to get the right side, the worst side from where we're.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, great. So you're getting the tornado side.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, get the plywood up on the windows, get the kids, safe, and charge the DSs.
I got portable batteries for the phones, and the kids get their tablets. The walls are made of concrete because this house was recently built, like just a few years ago. I have a really, really good hurricane-proof roof. That's a hard hurricane-proof roof. Yeah. But I got the wood up in the glass, so I'm pretty good. Just losing power might be the worst thing, aside from a little bit. I'm not in a flood zone, but maybe a little bit of flooding just from the amount of rain that's going to be falling. That's about it.
Last I checked on the Sentinel website, they were predicting 10 to 13 inches of rain for
probably going to be a little more than that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I was like, we got like 19 or 20 from Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie booked it across the state. Like,
went over in an hour.
Yeah, it hit I-4 and it's like, fuck, got to get to the Atlantic. Got to go. Like,
it took the I-4 like most of the drivers do.
Driving like an asshole, Charlie. Okay, so mom's okay, all that?
Mom's okay. I helped her. I put her up. She's got fancy metal shutters that, her house is a fortress right now. She is good.
Okay.
Losing power is our biggest worry right now.
Does she have brandy in a bag?
Of course, she's got brandy in a bag.
Good. As long as Mel's okay, then I'm happy.
She
All
even
right.
shared a little bit with me, so I got.
Yay. Let's show off that mug real quick. So we don't actually have this on the rundown, but I want to talk about the good folks at Geeky Tiki's real quick. Yeah. They don't sponsor us. We pay for their products. Bob's got the creature of the Black from the Black Lagoon right there.
It wasn't that expensive, especially compared to most tiki mugs these days. This guy is very affordable. It's like $15.
Did you get him on Entertainment Earth?
Yes. Yes.
So all the Universal Monster ones are like $15 to $17 on Entertainment Earth. And there's Gilman, there's Dracula, there's the Bride, there's Frankie, there's Wolfman, and I want to say the Mummy.
That sounds right. Yes, all the classic Universal monsters.
Maybe Invisible Man. I can't remember if Invisible Man's one of them. Okay.
Well, Invisible Man would look like this. I wouldn't have.
They should just make him out of glass. So Geeky Tiki's does all these really neat pop culture inspired mugs. They've got the Star Wars license. They have the Marvel license. They have. Obviously, they have the Universal Monster license. They've done some with the Ninja Turtles, I believe. I think in Loot Crate.
Yes, they have actually. And I got a little. Well, they did like little miniature ones and
shot glasses, right?
Yeah, because this is what they did for the Tiki mug, and then this is the one I have for Shredder.
That's fucking great.
It's adorable.
So I've got I have two of the Star Wars ones, as you guys know. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've got Boba Fett and C-3PO. So yeah, the Geeky Tikis are money. They're, if you're looking to start a tiki mug collection, they're a great way to start to start one because they're cheap. Not cheap. They're inexpensive. They are very well made. And they look awesome. And hey, who doesn't love a good license? Because that's cool as shit. So congratulations on your awesome mug, Bob. I'm insanely jealous. I don't have it yet. Right now, Bob, you've been working on a very secret, special Cretins Guild project that is not the action movie playoffs. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, when Corey left on his journey to the magical land of Chicago, he was awarded. It was 4 weeks ago now, right?
It was like closer to 6 now.
6 weeks. Okay. He was awarded the Cretins Guild Championship belt. And Bob, you have that to display, correct?
Well, I have the prototype.
Yeah, the prototype.
What we envisioned it to finally look like. And, this is it. This is as flimsy as it looks. It's a workout strap with we got just some sheet metal, and there's gaffer's tape, and it's spray painted, and Corey did the badges, the artwork on the badges. I did the really bad center plate, and we're like, oh, this would be like a good template until we can actually grow up and stop pretending.
Did we spell guild wrong on there?
G-U... We probably did.
I think we did. I think it's
G-U-L-I-D.
It should be G-U-I-L-D.
Yeah, well,
that's about right.
It fits the charm of this shitty piece of shit.
Well, you know what? It's still a trophy, though. It's still a trophy.
And Corey, yeah, we awarded this to him on, what was it, July 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left, and he left this behind. I don't know. That should almost be grounds for stripping him as champion. He is technically still champion.
Now, you guys have had a challenge for the belt, right? So how exactly does the challenge for the belt work?
Well, there are particular rules.
Even Corey is confused on how this works.
I thought it'd be cool. That's pretty cool. I thought it'd be pretty cool to have precise rules for this thing. One of them being anyone can challenge for the belt. A potted plant could challenge for the belt if they're possible. Gimli, my pug, could challenge for the belt in a staring contest.
He'd probably win.
Yeah, he probably could because he's staring, not breathing. But yeah, the challenge has to be made, and it has to be agreed upon it has to receive 2 approving votes. One from, and it could be from any one of the 3 founding members, you, me, or Corey, or any of the former champions. So it needs 2 votes from any of those group of people to award the challenge. But another rule we call the Brock Lesnar rule. The belt must be defended every 30 days. I think Corey and I went. I just put a challenge up to him, and we issued it. By the time we kicked it in, it was probably 45 days later after he won it.
Well, why don't we edit that to be 45 days? We'll do every 6 weeks the belt must be defended, because especially because in all honesty, the current champion doesn't have all his stuff right now. So like the only thing he can defend on is the DS, his phone, or the chance that I'm in Chicago.
Well, well, how often does that happen? And that's how actually Corey and I issued a challenge, or I issued a challenge to Corey, I should say. We did a battle over the 3DS on Runbow, which is an amazing game as a multiplayer. Oh yeah, it's a lot. Single player you can do it. It's not as fun. Multiplayer, very, very fun. Cool. Awesome game.
I'll check that out. So who won your challenge? Are you the new champion?
Hell no, Corey. Oh. I downloaded the game. I had a week to play. It's like, okay, so I was learning the ins and outs and how to do this and the mechanics and everything. Corey downloaded the game, beat me 5-1. The next day he got it.
He's a bit of a shark when it comes to games like that, from what I understand. So it's kind of Smash-ish, right?
Yeah, it has multiple levels. We did a bunch of there's like a King of the Hill, there is a race, and there's like one other. But yeah, you can fight each other. You can punch and kick each other, which he did quite a lot.
Who was your character?
Shantae.
Okay, smart choice. And was he a runner?
No, he
or Commander Video, or
oh yes, he was Commander Video. That was it.
Okay. Well, so Corey maintains the title.
Yep, he gets another few days. Now, we haven't really issued the rule like how often somebody can be challenged, but I figure it'd just be like common sense not to be a dick. As soon as somebody defended their title, another challenger steps up right away.
Yeah, we can institute Wheaton's Law on that one. You know, it's like the don't be a dick clause, you know, or it's like if he just got beaten in something, give him time to recover. You know, there's no money in the bank rule here. This is not you can cash in whenever you want. We're civilized gentlemen, and this is a civilized sport.
Civilized of beating and taunting.
Yes, and you know, for civilized gentlemen like we are, a civilized gentleman would deserve a civilized title.
Oh, this is true. I challenged Corey a few days ago, and I lost.
Yep.
And the very next day, I finally received something you and I and Corey have been working on for years.
Yeah, years is not an exaggeration. Now, for full disclosure for the folks that are about to see this, I have seen a photo of what is about to happen. I have not seen it in all its glory. I do not know exactly how big this thing is. And no, it is not Bob's dork. This is this is something altogether different, and made of leather and metal. So I could still be describing your cock here, but I'm not. So Bob, take it away.
All right. I got to get this thing because it's not exactly the lightest. It is, I'm going to say it does weigh 8 pounds. And when you say 8 pounds, that's not much. This sucker's heavy because it is 8 pounds of glorious leather and steel. Wham!
Here is,
we have to back up a little bit so we can
the official Cretins Guild Championship.
That is it.
Holy shit, that thing's massive.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah,
the picture did not do it justice. You weren't kidding.
I got it. Let me there we go. Okay, there we go.
Whew. Holy shit.
Yeah. This thing is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And there we go.
Oh, thank God. Guild is spelled correctly on there.
Yeah, Guild is spelled correctly. Holy shit, that would have been bad. Oh my God, that would have been so bad. But yeah, real metal, real gold, and this. Let's just look at the plates one at a time.
Yeah, let's do
We
this.
have to stand up a little bit here. Oh yeah, and if you're listening to us on Podbean, please go to our YouTube channel and check this out because
nothing says good radio like visual.
Oh yeah, yeah, perfect for a podcast. So anyway, right up here we have the sacrificial pork.
Yep.
I love that thing. That is the Indian head test pattern, something to represent the business that Corey and I and Jay should be in. Then there we go, a nice little shot of my shirt.
I love that shirt.
Yeah, we got a. God dang, this thing is wearing out my arm. It's so heavy. And I don't know why I went with this pattern for the dice, but I made sure to get a little D12 in there.
Yay!
Yeah. And but I thought that was pretty cool. The artist himself came up with this. And then the last one on the side here, highly reflective, apparently.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The Super Nintendo controller. This thing is unbelievable. Now, right there is the main plate. If the artwork in the middle looks familiar, that artwork was done by Tiki Tony himself.
That's so cool.
He donated that to me. He said, "Here you go. You can have it. Do what you like with it." We have
That's so awesome.
Yeah, the lucha mask on the side representing our love for pro wrestling and luchadors in general, and then the Hatbox Ghost, which turned out. Let's get a little closer here. Man, that turned out so well. I am
so good.
Surprised to how well this looks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
That's seriously just so cool. Like that is one of the neatest things I think I've ever seen. I love the jewels on it too. Like the red jewels just really work.
Oh yeah, and I got the maker of this belt, Pro-Am Belts. They make a number of custom-made belts. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to put it over my shoulder like I'm the champion because I'm not. I'm going to respect this thing. I'll hold it and display it, but I am not the champion. I am just the curator, I guess.
Yeah, you're the keeper of the belt right now. You're like the guy that carries around the Stanley Cup with the white gloves.
Oh, I like that.
Which is the coolest fucking job in sports as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I need to get some gloves on. Because I was doing a whole bunch of I was hanging up wood onto the windows earlier today. You know what? I'm not gonna carry the joke any further. There's my protective glove. That's perfect. Little gardening glove.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Cretins Guild Championship. Corey is the current holder, and he is going to be challenged multiple times for this sucker.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to work out a way how to get this thing back and forth to each other since we live on other sides of the country now.
We should probably set up just a general PayPal fund for the Cretins Guild, where we all just toss in like $10 every paycheck for shipping the belt around.
Yeah.
And then if it does, and then if it, well, that's true too. And if it doesn't get shipped, if it just sticks with somebody for a while, then we just keep the coffer building up and we can use it for something at the end of the year.
And here's I kind of like that idea. Here's something else I thought was really cool. The back of the belt, that's felt. It's
that's
beautiful.
Cool.
Oh man, that's sexy right there. Try to put this back in its safe place so it won't get scratched or anything. But that's a belt.
That is the championship. Let's call a spade a spade. The old one was a belt. This is a proper championship.
Yes, I can agree with that.
This is a gorgeous piece of art, and thank you to Pro-Am Belts. Is it Pro-Am Belts?
Pro-Am Belts, yes.
Yes, thank you to Pro-Am Belts. Thank you to Tiki Tony. And honestly, thank you to Bob, because Bob spearheaded this entire thing and got this done for us, and it's awesome, and I love it. I can't really describe how kind of just unbelievably cool this situation is. It's awesome. Let's get to the third round of the action movie playoffs real quick. We are in the Elite Eight. What's that?
After everything we've just displayed, it's like, oh yeah, and there's the action movie. Oh no, something we've only been doing all summer long.
Yeah. So we're into the Elite Eight. And the Elite Eight, just as a recap, I'm going to read off the matchups to you, and we'll get into the guys moving into the final four. We have Die Hard versus The Dark Knight, Aliens versus Lethal Weapon, Raiders of the Lost Ark versus Predator, and Legend of Drunken Master versus Terminator 2. So, this was big. This is big. We're getting down to the nitty gritty now. This is the best of the best with honors.
Yep.
And Thank you. You got the reference. So first up, we've got Die Hard versus The Dark Knight. Now, I'm going to be honest, because I can see the percentages, and I don't know if we want to talk about those, but I'm looking at this, and I'm starting to see some cracks in Die Hard's armor, which I didn't expect.
Let me take a look at the past numbers here. I have some of them. Yeah, I would have to agree, because Die Hard was pretty heavy hitter up to this point.
Because it dropping to where it's at right now is enough for me to, especially knowing the next matchup, to go, ooh, shit, Bruce Willis, you might lose.
This is a very, I would say, both interesting and, well, not foreseeable, because we have our biggest upset so far.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So Die Hard beat The Dark Knight, which I'm not surprised by, because I mean, Die Hard is a spectacular action movie, and somehow you guys are bamboozled by The Dark Knight being an action movie. It's got 10 minutes of action in it. Calm down. But Die Hard squeaks into the second round. I think it's fair to say squeaks with the percentage it got, because it should have kicked the door down, with bottles of booze flaming, and gone in with like a 95% based on the pedigree of the movie.
Well, here's one thing. Last podcast we had my brother Matt on, who was born in 1990. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out that we have a lot of 80s movies on this list.
Well, yes, because that's when movies were good.
Yes. But maybe because Dark Knight is more fresh in the mind, it had more of a nostalgia to it, I guess, than Die Hard did.
More memory. It's more visible in people's minds. I can understand that. That's a valid point. So moving on to two films from the 80s, we have Aliens and Lethal Weapon. Aliens mopped the floor here.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a contest to this one.
Like this was by far and away the biggest margin of victory in the Elite Eight. Aliens easily moves into the Final Four. Next, Raiders of the Lost Ark versus Predator. Now, if you guys remember correctly, Predator has swept thus far. It has been 100% in the first two rounds of the playoffs. And
no other movie got 100% anywhere else in the bracket. All 32 movies, Predator is the only one, and it did it twice.
So now it is on against Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you know what? It damn near did it again. It was very close. Raiders did put up, I'm not going to say a respectable showing, but honestly, against Predator so far, a damn respectable showing. Getting the paltry sum of votes it did is a goddamn achievement. But Predator moves on and will face the winner of The Legend of Drunken Master and Terminator 2. Now, Bob, you hinted that there's a major upset here.
Yeah.
And
because Terminator 2, I honestly thought Terminator 2 would go all the way to the final.
I mean, you remember my original plan? My original thought was it was going to be Die Hard 2. And that was my original thought. But definitely from that side of the bracket, Terminator 2 was up there. It was one of those ones where I could see it getting there. And it sure as shit didn't. Drunken Master, people, you love Jackie Chan and we love you for it. Drunken Master gets into the Final Four. This is like the first year that Gonzaga had a good team. Like, you knew they were good, but you didn't know they were this good.
They are a Cinderella.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Drunken Master is here. This is the Legend of Drunken Princess, apparently, getting into the Final Four. So our Final Four matchups, we have Die Hard versus Aliens. Early predictions, Bob. Who are you picking?
Die Hard is probably... I want to lean Die Hard, but personally, I'm saying Aliens.
I am personally going to say Aliens as well. I still think Die Hard's going to pull it out, but I think Aliens is a better action film. Now, the other matchup, we have Predator versus The Legend of Drunken Master, and my vote goes to Legend of Drunken Master. As I have said since the start, you fuckers picked the wrong Predator film. It's it should have been Predator 2, goddammit. This should have been Danny Glover's time to shine. Or Danny Glover's time to shine.
No, Predator's up there. It deserves where it is.
I know. I I will never apologize for my adoration of Predator 2. But Predator Drunken Master, that
that's David and Goliath right there.
On paper, that's a cakewalk for Predator, but the games aren't played on paper, folks. Now, you can vote for Die Hard, Aliens, Predator, or Drunken Master in their matchups on Twitter. You can search hashtag Action Movie Playoffs. You can vote on Instagram. You can vote on Facebook, all those places. Now, Bob is doing handy dandy polls on Twitter, which is nice because you can just click and you're done. You don't have to worry about typing anything. You just answer.
Yeah, I first started this on just anywhere. Just get a vote to me and I'll take it. Like Instagram, Facebook, I don't care. Give me a vote and I'll take it. And then I've realized, I could be doing polls on Twitter, and this is so much easier. I got a lot of votes this time around.
Yeah, because you can retweet it. It's real easy to retweet something. So yeah, look for the polls up on Twitter for the finals or for the final four. And all the votes from round 3, as you might have seen Bob tweeted out, we're going to be matched on the dollar for Houston's Humane Society. So we're going to be donating $100, and thanks to everyone who voted. It's a wonderful thing that you guys helped out. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you everybody who voted. It's very appreciated. Thank you so much.
Definitely. So Bob, I don't have anything I'm doing right now because I've been very busy with work, and you are busy. What you're doing is not getting swept away by a hurricane. So next time we're going to be talking about the final 4 of the Action Movie Playoffs and getting ready for the finals of what is sure to be an epic battle. We're probably going to talk some more stuff. I don't really know what else we're going to talk about. Your recovery from the hurricane. Make sure that you guys are doing okay down there and everything like that. There is a slight chance that I'll be doing this solo on the next one.
No, I'll be back. This is not my last one. I guarantee it.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to do that. We'll talk about some other topics. I don't know what else yet. There will be something that comes up in the nerd stratosphere for us to talk about.
There tends to be topics every so often. So, I mean, that's where we're fortunate.
Absolutely. And you know us, guys, we feed off your dialogue, so we want you to subscribe, like, comment on anything we talked about here today. You can do that on all of our social networks. You can talk about it in the comments on YouTube. You can send smoke signals if you want to. We can't translate those, but hey, if it makes you feel good,
we'll notice them.
Yep. Send a message in a bottle. Do that. Either way, wherever you are, you may be listening to this podcast on Facebook or Twitter at Cretins Guild. Thank you for listening. Mahalo. We appreciate it. Be safe, Florida. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Vote on Twitter, guys.
Absolutely.
Vote.